If I came up to you and told you that a little idea, a thought perhaps, could change the world, let's face it, I think you'd look at me, you'd laugh, you'd wonder if I was doing okay, but point is, you wouldn't take me seriously. Okay, fine, let's change the scenario. Maybe not the world, let's scale it down to community level, will you? Maybe then you'd listen to what I'd have to say. And what if I told you the story of a real-life experience, a success story to go along with it? Then would you believe me? Well, I'd hope so, and that's what I'm going to make you do today. Because you heard me. The tiniest idea can make a monumental change. Our story starts during the annual visits my family and I used to make to Lebanon when living abroad. And throughout these 11 years abroad, where we lived in the UAE and the US, my family and I would return to Lebanon every summer for around 2 weeks to visit our family. And yes, these visits were short, but they were so valuable because we had the chance to reconnect with family and friends, but also disconnect ourselves from the outside world and immerse ourselves in Lebanon's most beautiful nature. And we'd go on walks and breathe in the fresh air. And as much as I enjoyed every single second, the one thing that would pain me, the one thing that would hurt me, was the lack of any awareness or any direction towards the waste management in our little village called Duwar. There were sites that were simply unseeable, such as overflowing trash dumps or litter disposed at the trunk of trees. But I realized that there was no time to dwell on the issue because I wanted to create a change. Even if it was going to be a small change, I was going to make a change at my level. So in the summer of 2017, hand in hand with my brother, my cousins, and a few friends, we went door to door in Duwar to raise awareness on this issue. We showed residents with the help of visuals how to sort recyclable items at the source. And quite honestly, this initiative was super unofficial, where we genuinely thought that no one was going to listen to us. Little did we know that this was actually the first step of a long journey that we were embarking on, and that we had just planted the first seeds. Back in Lebanon for good, the summer of 2018, we started going on more frequent, more regular walks. And it was then that I noticed the litter thrown everywhere in the forests. And from local juice boxes to chocolate bar wrappers, all the way to cigarettes and beer bottles, it didn't take long to realize that this issue, it ranged from kids all the way to adults. And my aunt, who had also come back from living abroad for 21 years, was shocked by this. And together we thought about what we could do at this stage. So, as loyal citizens of Duwar, we bought pliers to pick up the trash ourselves. And as more and more people would see us pick up this trash and fill up bags and bags that we'd later send for recycling, they'd come up to us and inquire because they too wanted to take part. And little by little, as more people came to be part of this little village ritual, if you will, Duwar started to look cleaner. And here another idea struck us. Our original picking up trash in the forest idea sparked another one, to expand this little initiative outside our village. We thought long and hard about a solution that was practical and sustainable, and that could be integrated easily into the lives of people. And we came to the realization at this stage that people's habits are a recollection or a series of repetitive actions. So if we helped people correct their actions, then their habits would change as well. And we did this through our green bag initiative. We created a bag that could be attached to people's car's handbrake and serve as a trash can for anything they were going to dispose out the window, be that a Coca-Cola bottle or a cigarette. And see, this solution was simple. And if people got into the habit of refraining from littering out their window, then they'd do the same in their village. But to make our idea available to a larger group of people, we had to create more bags, a lot more bags. So we started by collecting unused drop cloths from a designer that we knew. And we'd then take these drop cloths to an association for special needs where we worked with challenged people to turn these cloths into reusable, beautiful, eco-friendly bags. And these bags and here a wonderful opportunity presented itself. A flea market in Bitmiri, up in the mountains, where we were able to present our idea to a larger group of people, first of all, but also with the money we collected, create even more bags. A lot more bags, actually, 3,000 to be exact. And with all these bags, we thought, well, what can we do? And we decided to distribute them into elementary schools all around the country. Because if we were able to pass the message, and if these students in Lebanon were able to grasp the ideas early on, then potentially harmful impulses would be substituted with the correct actions and stick for a lifetime. Motivated by our successful experiences, we decided to focus back on our roots, to focus back on our beloved Douar. The summer of 2019 was our revisited run of our 2017 adventure, now seeming somewhat short-lived in retrospect. And the goal was to raise awareness in an aim to change the way in which Douar dealt with the disposal of its garbage. And how? Well, by recycling. So we repeated the door-to-door visits, but in larger numbers, because this time around we were supported by the municipality and the village scouts. And with the help of printed visuals, we explained exactly what was expected of each and every resident in Douar. And we demonstrated how each recyclable was to be washed, cleaned, and disposed of in a blue bag that would be collected by the municipality every Thursday. So it was then every resident's job to put this bag on their doorstep as the municipality's truck would pass by and take it to the neighboring village of Bikfaya. And as school began back in September, we moved back down to Beirut. But whenever I had the chance, I would go back to Douar. I would go back to see how our project was evolving. And I was so happy and overjoyed to see the number of blue bags increase every week. It was so clear that the residents of Douar were putting so much importance into the cleanliness of their village and the impact it had on the environment. And I also felt a sense of relief because all that countless hours of explanation and preparation were finally paying off. And see, our success story hasn't evolved any further, although I'm sure it will in the future. And the point is not to tell you to go and fix your village's entire waste management system, but rather to go ahead and give your ideas a try. Because I'm telling you, an idea can go a really long way. If we take a few steps back, Douar's entire way to dispose its garbage was fixed with the simple idea of picking up this trash on our walks through the village. And truth is, you don't have to have a master plan in front of you, nor do you need to have a timeline that puts a date to each step. All you need is that little idea, because you, each and every one of you sitting in this audience today, are the champions of your ideas. And if you truly believe in your ideas, then you have the power to turn them into something great. And you'll see that your ideas, they come to build upon each other. Ideas will come to fruition upon one another. Just how our little picking up trash in the forest idea sparked another one to create a bag to refrain from littering out the window. And how that later pushed us back to Douar to encourage the residents to recycle. Every time I go back to Douar, I think, wow, things really did work out. And I think back to that first seed we planted and how that seed was given a chance to grow and how it did grow. So this is my call to you. Your idea can be the tiniest thought, the tiniest figment of your imagination. But if you believe in your idea, if you truly do, then you can turn it into something great, something more than great. And yes, it takes that little push, it takes that little confidence to get started, but you can't step out unless you've jumped in. And you'll deal with what comes next when it happens. But for now, take that big step, make that leap of faith, and you can thank me later.